YouTubers, gamers, and moviegoers, what's going on, guys? I'm the Messiah, this is Messiah Entertainment, and today we are reviewing the CW Arrowverse television season. So pretty much Arrow, Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. Now, honestly, I'm gonna just clump it all into one review. I did 3 separate reviews for each show over on my friend's channel with JXB Entertainment. Go check that out. The link will be in the description box below. But today I'm just gonna give a broad overview about what I thought about the entire universe in general at this point. And while I can't say it was terrible, it wasn't exactly at its best. I mean, we've had some great seasons with the Arrowverse. I mean, Arrow season 1 and 2 were phenomenal. So was the first season of Flash. I really enjoyed it. But this season for both of those shows, I don't know, it just didn't rank up to what I thought it should have been. Flash to me this season being the weakest link among all 3 of the shows. I mean, I loved Flash season 1, and to me it was like the best show of the CW last year. But some reason this season came on and I just wasn't getting into it as much as I did the first season, you know? It was a cool enough villain with Zoom, but I don't know, it just didn't seem like it came out as well as the first season did. You know, they try to do the same sort of things, there's some parallels, there's a twist in this season as to who the main villain really is, and just like how they did with Harrison Wells being Eobard Thawne, and I don't know, I just felt like it didn't hit as hard this season as it did last season. Last season was like, oh my god, it really kept you guessing. And then this season kind of came around, and then halfway through the season, Jay Garrick says his doppelganger is Hunter Zolomon, and then you start sitting there and you're like, wait a second. So it's obvious, that's obviously who Zoom is. It seemed like you could get the twist about halfway through the season, as opposed to last season where I really didn't know up until when the show told me. It really kept you guessing well enough to say, you know, he could be Eobard, but is he really Eobard? No, he can't be Eobard. Is he Professor Zoom? Are there 2 Zooms? It made you really think about what was going on. But the logic here for me just did not make sense. They introduced time remnants and stuff like that, and to me, I thought it kind of contradicted what they've already established about if you kill a younger version of yourself, you're kind of wiped from existence, but apparently that doesn't matter, so I don't know, it was a little And then the entire story just kind of seemed dragged out, you know? There were certain episodes that honestly, they were just filler. It was just pure filler, and it kind of got me disinterested for a bit. There was one episode where my friend Johnny, he just turned off the television. Honestly, it was that inconsequential that when he came back next week, he honestly didn't really miss much. It just feels weird when you're fighting Zoom and, you know, Jay Garrick could have possibly been killed by him, and, you know, there's this whole thing where Earth 2 is gonna be destroyed soon, and then you take a whole episode to deal with some inconsequential villain. It feels like you're doing these weird side quests, and it's like, can we get back to the main topic at hand? It takes you out of the experience and almost makes it almost feel like you're playing a video game. You know when you're playing a video game and it's like there's a main quest of this guy's gonna destroy the world, but somehow you have time to do these little side missions that have nothing to do with it? I feel like that's the same thing that's going on here. And some of these filler episodes, they're just so melodramatic in certain points, and they just draw things out way too much. How many times are we gonna have to deal with Barry not being able to tell somebody that he's the Flash? You know what I mean? Like, after the first time, it kind of gets old. That's why I'm kind of looking forward to what they do with Wally. Wally looks like he's gonna be trying to help the Flash, and he actually is gonna start to idolize him, and that's, you know, how he ends up being either Kid Flash or the next incarnation of Flash. And it just seems like that might work a bit better. But we're doing the same thing in this season with Patty that we were doing with Iris in the previous season. You know, he's in love with somebody, he can't let them know that he's the Flash and that he's doing all these things. It just kind of seems like you're rehashing and you're replaying out the same things over and over and over and over again, and to me it just kind of got boring after a while. And Barry, take a boxing lesson. My god, I can't stress to you how annoying it was to watch The Flash constantly on a regular weekly basis get his ass whooped. I'm sorry, it was annoying every single episode. And it's by people who honestly, theoretically, shouldn't really be able to hit him at all. You know what I mean? He's moving at super speeds, and someone who's a big juggernaut is able to just clothesline him? I mean, I'm sorry. I know this is still technically part of his origin. He's not fully developed his powers yet, you know, but it just gets to the point where it's like, just use your brain, Perry. You don't need to know how to fight to beat somebody up with super speed. Okay, you can just dodge everything they're throwing at you, go up from behind them, go brrr, and then you're good. Like, remember in the Injustice 2 trailer, it was like he flies around Superman and is able to go brrr, 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 and he kicks him out the way? We need more of that. And don't tell me that he can't do that, because he does it to Arrow in the first season. Remember during that first crossover where they fight each other? He does pretty much the same exact thing, where he runs to one side, brrr, runs to the next side, brrr, runs to another side, brrr, runs to another side, brrr, and never done again. Never freaking done again. That's another thing. He learns powers both throughout this season and the previous season, and he doesn't use them when he should. When it's freaking obvious that he should be using those powers. For example, Zoom captures him and a few other people, and he sits there for pretty much half the episode not sure of what to do with himself. And the whole time I'm sitting there saying, oh my god, Barry, just use your brain. You remember you learned to run through things, Barry? Do you remember that? Do you remember you could vibrate at certain frequencies and shatter glass? Do you remember that, Barry? I think he might have tried that, but it just didn't work for some reason. I think it was the same reason he couldn't vibrate out the thing at first. It was because it was vibrating at a different frequency. Either way, it was such a stupid excuse as to why he didn't think to use it sooner, and thus have had more time throughout the entire episode to get the right frequency and zoom out of there. I'm rambling now, but it's just like, just use your brain, learn how to fight. It's an origin story, but you don't have to be that rookie. And yeah, I know I'm ragging on the show a lot, but that doesn't mean that I hated it. I actually did enjoy quite a few episodes of it. For example, like all the Earth 2 stuff, every time they went over there and they saw the doppelgangers, that was actually pretty fun. To see Cisco Ramon's opposite, that was pretty cool. Killer Frost is a product of Earth 2, and I thought that was a fun episode. Well, you know, where you see the little nerdy Barry and then Iris, they're together, but Iris is a cop in here, and Joe's just some singing dude at a club, and I was like, I actually really liked those episodes. Also, the acting is still phenomenal on everybody. Grant Gustin as the Flash is great as the Flash, and then his whole team, Flash crew, you know, they've got the Harrison Wells back from Earth 2. He was great. Wally West was great, and I look forward to seeing a lot more of him, especially knowing he's supposed to be either Kid Flash or the Flash, and he's not a kid here, so I'm guessing either just be a Flash sidekick or he's just gonna take up the mantle of Flash at a certain point. But either way, I look forward to seeing a lot more of him, and all the supporting cast from the first season was great. Jay Garrick, spoiler alert, Zoom. He did a great job. He's a great menacing villain. I just feel like there's a lot of gripes I had with the show, and sometimes it just seems like it's adding on one after the other, and it gets on my nerves a bit sometimes. So hopefully if they could work on some of those things next season, make Barry a little bit cooler with his powers, you know, make him use a lot more of them instead of just having to throw lightning every 5 seconds. That's like the only move he learned. It's like when you're playing Mortal Kombat and you only know one move, so you keep on spamming the move against the other player, just that's what Barry feels like. Though at the end of this season, they do kind of redeem him. He does do his cool brrr, brrr, and he does beat the crap out of Zoom, and he did it early in the season 2 with Reverse Flash, so hopefully things should be looking up for Barry. You know, he shouldn't be able to get knocked down and knocked around so easily, hopefully for next season. Overall, yes, I did have some gripes, but I wouldn't say it was a terrible show. It kept me watching pretty much the entire time. There was quite a few filler episodes, so hopefully we could cut those down and make every episode relevant, sort of like what Gotham is doing. But overall, yeah, definitely the weakest link of this season, in my opinion, and honestly nowhere near as good as the previous season.